I really wanted to make this video when Jack was alive, so I could hold him right here, and want to do videos on how I got my cats got their names. And so I had Jack and Weezer, and they were brothers. And Weezer died in 2009, and I always kind of, was in YouTube putting the videos up, and I really thought it'd be kind of cool at some point in time to do like a self video. Now I got a webcam on my computer, so I can do it. And so we gotta go all the way back to 1994. I was coming out of a really bad breakup, and we had the woman I was with. We had two cats, Rocky and Cheska, and they were a brother and a sister. And we broke up, moved out, and all that good stuff. Decided she should keep the cats. I really wanted to keep Rocky because he was my cat, and Cheska was her cat. And but I wanted to keep them together because they were siblings, and I thought it was best for the cats. And so me and my brother Ryan moved in together, and he worked with a lady who bred cats, and she mainly silver-tip Persians. And so we're talking about it one night, and I said how I missed having cats. And Ryan was talking to this lady at work, and she's talking about how she bred cats and how she had two that were not silver-tip Persians. Her Persian had gotten out while in heat, and some random Tom helped her produce two kittens. And so she couldn't sell them, so she's going to take them to Green Hill. And Ryan's like, well, hey, my brother might be interested in one of them. Like, yeah, so she brought him by, and it was an all-black cat and a black and white cat, and little kittens. They were, a few months old. They were almost, ready to be neutered at that point. And they really hadn't been away from mom, really hadn't been out of this house. And so she put them down on the ground, and the little black kitten just immediately took off and just got the hang of everything. It was like, oh, hey, look, there's something on the floor. Hey, look, batting stuff around. And the little black and white kitten just stayed right where he was put down, and he was shaking. He was so scared. You'd touch him, and he would make a little noise and purr, cause, that kind of nervous kind of reaction. So I had to decide, which cat was I going to keep, which cat was going to go back to Green Hill. And I kind of really wanted the black one, because the black one was really aggressive and really playful. But I felt sorry for the black and white cat at the same time, because I thought it'd be more stressful for him to go to Green Hill. But also on the same token, I was thinking, that the black cat might not get adopted right away. I don't know if Green Hill was a kill shelter at the time. And so I was kind of going back and forth. And the lady said, hey, look, I have to pay for whatever, cat I drop off there. If you want both of them, I'm more than happy to give them to you. So I was like, great. I'll take them both, yeah. And so it's kind of like the whole, I like to keep the siblings together. And so I have this little black aggressive cat and this little scared little black and white kitty. And so kind of bonding with him for a few days. And I had to come up with names for him, and the black and white one, his name was really easy to come up with. I didn't want to name him Beatnik because he had a little soul patch underneath his lip. Just a little patch of black. And I thought Beatnik was just a really generic, been there, done that kind of name. And so, but I was listening to the Beastie Boys a lot. This is Hello Nasty, and I think License to Ill was getting ready to come out, or not License to Ill, whatever the other one, the follow-up to Hello Nasty. And but on Paul's Boutique, I think they talk about Jack Kerouac. And at that point in time, I never... Hello Ladies, the song. And I knew he was a beatnik, beat poet, and never at that point in time had I really listened to any of it, read any of his stuff. I have since then. I have 2 spoken word audio discs of his, and by the time I had no clue who Jack Kerouac was, besides just the name. But I thought Jack Kerouac would be a great name for a cat, and so the black and white one became Jack Kerouac. And so the little black kitten didn't have a name, and I really couldn't come up with a good name for him. I just kept calling him Weasel Cat, because what would happen was that Jack would open up cabinet doors, and Weezer would get into the black cat would get into them, and then the door would shut, and I'd get home from work, and I'd hear, from these cabinets, and I'd have to get him out. And every time you opened up a door, because we weren't supposed to have cats, and there were certain doors that had windows that people could see out, and so there were certain rooms they couldn't go into, and you'd open up the door, and he'd zoom right in, like, hey, I'm gonna check this out. What's in here? Being a cat. And so, at the same time, we had no cable television in our house. We had just whatever on the air, over the air, and the radio. So this is back when MTV played music videos. We're talking, 94. And so there was a song I kept hearing on the radio. Where it was like, I want to say, like, the best way to describe it is 3/4 speed, and there was like a woman talking and a man talking, and then there was singing, and I could never catch the title. And so when we had no cable, no MTV, they had a channel called The Box, where you could call up and pay like $1.99, and you type in a number, and then they'd play a video. And it was mostly hip hop was on there, and a lot of like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Two Live Crew, and a lot of very overly suggestive songs. And there was one that kept popping up, was Weezer, the Sweater Song, Finally Undone. And no clue as to who this Weezer was or not. And so me and my brother were just kind of theorizing that, to go with the theme of a lot of the videos on there, that it was like this little guy who kind of like Flavor Flav, and he's talking about finally getting the sweater undone, and and going from there. And it was a big joke, and nobody ever ordered a video. A lot of people ordered Beastie Boys Sabotage, which was pretty cool. And eventually we got cable. And I remember one day I came home, and I had TV back in the time when you turned it on, and I don't know if the newer TV still does, but it took forever to actually kick on. Like the sound would come on, but the picture wouldn't come up. And I flipped the channel number to MTV, which was 29, and this 3/4 song came on with the people talking. I was like, oh, finally, at the end of the song, I'll see who it is. So I'm sitting there, watching the video. It had, the dogs, blue in the background, and then they came up, and it was Weezer, the Sweater Song, Finally Undone. And since I've been calling Weezer Weasel Cat, I decided Weezer, and then eventually Weezer J Cat, after Rocky, Rocket J Squirrel, Bullwinkle J Moose, and that is how Weezer ended up with his name, and that's how Jack ended up with his name.